Have you ever encountered a location in a survival game that caught you off guard? Maybe it was the off-putting vibes or the disturbing secrets you discovered there. Some survival game locations don't just challenge us with their difficulty, they challenge us by throwing something at us that we were entirely not expecting. Today we're breaking down 9 of the creepiest survival game locations. Let's get into it. We're starting with the caves of Minecraft. Now, hear me out with this one because while Minecraft may not feel like it belongs on this list, just wait until you're 100 blocks deep and your torch is gone and you hear a faint voice in the dark. That's when this generally cozy game turns into something completely different. You can never be sure what you're going to get when you enter a cave in Minecraft. It could be filled with useful resources, it could be a simple hole in the ground, or it could be packed with dangerous enemies who are ready to overpower you. And as you travel deeper, this can change. No matter how prepared you might think you are, the darker it gets and the more strange things start to look, the less confident you feel. This no longer feels like the colorful, cheerful game we know Minecraft to be. It feels dark, twisted, and unpredictable. Our next location is also a cheerful one that's been entirely twisted, the Crossroads Mall of Project Zomboid. When we think of malls, we think of crowds of people, busy food courts, and stores filled with different types of products. The Crossroads Mall entirely warps our image of malls. Sure, there are crowds of people, but those people are undead, aggressive zombies. They aren't looking to eat at the food court because their food court is now any flesh they can get their hands on. The shops are still filled with useful items, but to even get to them, you'll have to fight your way through hordes of zombies. What makes it so unsettling isn't just the way what we know has been distorted, it's the actual intensity of trying to make it through this place. There are so many entrances, you can never be certain you won't get surprised by more enemies. It turns a place that's so familiar to us into an absolute nightmare. The Long Dark is filled with eerie, winding caves and mines, one of the most notorious being the Langston mine. Located in the zone of contamination, Langston mine appears to be what remains of the mining operations that destroyed this region. The mine winds deeply into the landscape nearby with various levels and passageways splitting off into the darkness. It's eerie enough having to constantly worry about losing your light as you explore deeper and deeper. You can't shake the fear of getting lost in this place and slowly losing your life, but without proper gear, you can quickly be overcome by poisonous gas that floats in certain sections of the mine, hanging in the air ready to suffocate you. Not only do you have to deal with the creeping dread of exploring this abandoned mine and the dangers that come with that, you have to have enough light to make it out, remember your path to the exit, and avoid dying from the gas. There is nothing comfortable about this location, and for once, you probably missed the howl of the wind and the snow falling outside. Where the Langston mine is filled with threats to navigate, the crater edge in Subnautica is disturbingly empty. You will encounter this region as you find yourself staring over a steep underwater cliff into pitch black, endless water. It's disturbingly quiet, absent of the ambient music and sea life noises that you've become so used to. The only thing that breaks the silence is your PDA, warning you that you've entered an ecological dead zone. If you decide to remain in the area, or even explore deeper into it, you'll encounter massive ghost leviathans, pushing you back to the safety of the land you left behind. Despite the dangers in the rest of the sea, at least you could ground yourself in the environment around you. The light, the plants, the noise, but there's none of that here. Just darkness. The feeling is overwhelming, and I think you'll find yourself swimming back towards the light and not looking back. Exploring the Amazonian rainforest in Green Hell, you grow accustomed to the isolation and quiet beauty of nature. You're used to seeing the animals, the towering trees, the water quietly flowing around you. So stumbling upon a man-made manufacturing facility in the middle of the jungle is undeniably creepy. This large facility sits abandoned in a clearing, littered with the decaying possessions of whoever was here before and the remains of what was clearly an illicit operation. What's more eerie is that it looks as if the area was abandoned in a hurry, with items scattered all over the camp and possessions completely forgotten. This is a large operation, clearly, and not the kind of thing you would expect to be abandoned without good cause. You can't help but wonder why this site was abandoned. What kind of threat could cause people to flee like this? It covers the location with a cloud of uneasiness. Despite the resources this place offers, making it a decent location that you could definitely shelter in, you find yourself wanting to leave. You'd rather take your chances with the jungle than risk facing whatever threaten this place. Whether Amazon rainforest is bright and green and as refreshing as it can be deadly, the forest of Darkwood is suffocating and eerie. As you explore, scavenging for resources, you see just how wrong the world around you has become. Homes that used to be welcoming and comfortable now sit abandoned, with floors sprouting odd plant life and furniture broken and strewn around. Animals behave erratically and are often hostile towards you, and the humans you do encounter are twisted and strange. Nothing here is what you'd expect it to be, and that means you're constantly on edge, uncertain of what you'll encounter as you fight to survive. There isn't much you can do but try to adapt and survive this world, as the world escalates to try and keep you from doing exactly that. Like Darkwood's forest, the Haze of Grounded forces you to confront a twisted version of your reality. Except here, you're also the size of an ant. A section of the backyard is covered in a yellow haze caused by a leaking weed killer. The gas is toxic, and without the proper gear, you'll rapidly lose health. It's also thick, hanging in large clouds that make it very difficult to see around you. Incredibly off-putting because this area is swarming with mutated and infected bugs that will attack you and can deal massive damage. You definitely don't want to get attacked by surprise ever in this game, but especially here, and the haze makes it easy for enemies to sneak up on you. And honestly, it's the mutated, extra aggressive insects that make this location so scary. It is truly the stuff of nightmares. The insects in this game are disturbing enough on their own, but when they're mutated and even more aggressive, it's almost too much to take. Sons of the Forest, like Grounded, is eerie from the jump, largely due to the enemies you face and the way that you're often unprepared for the world that you're in. When you visit the food and dining bunker, you aren't just physically unprepared, you're emotionally unprepared for what you will encounter there. This location features mutated versions of Edward and Barbara Puffton, who you'll have to fight in a brutal and fast-paced battle. And once the battle ends, the horror really sinks in. The bunker is filled with dead bodies, gore, rotting items, and mutant babies, and the imagery of everything you've seen and experienced will not leave you quickly. The dangers that you face throughout your survival on the island really come to a head in the food and dining bunker, and it's genuinely terrifying. And finally, the Sonorous Dark of Kenshi. Kenshi takes place in a brutal, punishing world that is packed to the brim with terrifying and hopeless moments, and the Sonorous Dark really exemplifies all of this. This area features permanent acid rain, which can literally melt your skin off, requiring you to travel with gear that will protect you from the effects of the acid. But honestly, that's the easy part. This area is inhabited by the Skin Bandits, roaming robotic entities who wear stitched together human skin outfits and are driven to capture organic, humanoid creatures for their skin. Yes, they are literal skin bandits. They won't just kill you and skin you though. Instead, the skin bandits will abduct you and use a peeler machine to strip your skin away while you're still alive. It's incredibly brutal. And the skin bandits are determined, willing to pursue you for long distances to capture you. The sheer thought of this is enough to make most players want to avoid this area at all costs, including myself. Which of these locations do you dread traveling to when you play any of these games? And did I miss a survival game location that sends chills down your spine? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.